singen zusammen die Geschichte über den Schweinkopf, den Hund und den lieben Red Baron.
Welcome back to the arcade. Well, in the last video, I fixed the Red Baron. So now let's go ahead and play a few games. But before we start and play some games, I just want to give a little rundown on a few little things about the Atari Red Baron. From what I gather, it was developed the same time Battlezone was, which was in 1980. I think Battlezone came out first. And one site I went to said that actually Red Baron came out in 1980. But another website I went to said it came out in June of 1981. So I'm not exactly sure, but let's say somewhere between the end of 1980 and 1981 is when this game officially came out. This is the upright unit, and they produced about 1,500 units. When these were new, they retailed for $1,995. Okay, they also made an environmental cockpit version, and that's more rare because they only made somewhere around 500 of them. I looked up on Twin Galaxies, and the world record for Red Baron was set in 1981. Let's see, it was set by David Palmer, and I'll put a little graphic up of a screenshot from Twin Galaxies. And no, actually that was in July 5th of 1985 when that record was set. Okay. Now, this game is maybe not my all-time favorite game, but it is from back during the era when these were new in the arcade. This was my go-to game for quite a while, until one day it just vanished from the arcade, and I'd never been able to see another one in any arcade since then. So ever since I started collecting, I've been trying to find a Red Baron, and it was very difficult to locate one that was close by and one that didn't have to ship and all that stuff. I try to get things local if I can, especially nowadays, because shipping is so high. But back in, like, let's say 1999, you could ship a game like this from California all the way here to Virginia for like $112. Yeah, really. Things have really gone up since then. Those days are over. But anyway, the place that I used to play this in the arcade was a local arcade in our local shopping mall, which was only about within walking distance of where I used to live. And of course I'm in Hampton, Virginia, and the name of the mall is Newmarket North Mall. That opened in 1975. And believe it or not, when it opened in 1975, it had an arcade, one heck of an arcade, a big arcade. Matter of fact, I found a picture from the local newspaper, and they published it, and I believe this was back in 1975, 76. Well, the date's on the news clip, so you'll be able to see it and read it. But the arcade had a name. It was called the Nautilus. And if that sounds familiar, the Nautilus was the submarine from Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And this game room, it was huge. In the middle of the entrance in the mall, and it was close to the Sears. This mall had one of its big anchor stores was Sears. And when you walked up to the entrance, right in the middle of the entrance, they had this great big aquarium. I guess it was a saltwater aquarium because they had a real sand shark in it. And that was something to behold, just to see this aquarium, you know, I mean a big aquarium right in the middle of the entranceway. When you went into the arcade was set up, it looked like the inside of a submarine. You had the ventilation pipes and everything running across the ceiling and everything. Of course, back in 1975 when it first opened up, they basically had electromechanical pinball machines and electromechanical arcade games. 75, let's see. I don't know. I don't remember. I do remember later on they had, you know, all the games, you know, like the old black and white games like Boot Hill and that type of thing, all the way up to you started to get into stuff like the Red Baron and regular arcade games. And they even had Laserdisc games later on. That arcade stayed in business till the mall did a revamp and remodel, and that was in 1989. In 1989, when they remodeled the mall, they did away with the Nautilus, and upstairs, it was a two-level mall. Upstairs, down in the opposite end of the mall, they put in a food court. Now, back then, before then, nobody knew about a food court in any of the malls around here. Food places in the mall were scattered all throughout the mall. Just anywhere in the mall, you know, you might find like a hot dog on a stick down here, and down the other end of the mall be a McDonald's, and then another branch down ways you'd have a Chick-fil-A. They was just scattered all through the mall. So somebody came up with the idea of having a food court. So they started putting food courts where all the food was in one section. And in this food court in the center upstairs, they had a real merry-go-round, a carousel. They renamed New Market North New Market Fair, and that was one of the big deals. It had a real carousel. And also in the corner of the food court, they had a new game room, which wasn't nowhere near as big as the Nautilus. I don't even think it had a name. I can't remember. If anybody from this area, in the Hampton area, remembers if it had a name, you know, let me know in the comments. But anyway, that was the extent of it. In the Nautilus, they had a Red Baron. And when I used to go into the Nautilus, the first game I went to, well, first I went to the quarter machine, the change machine, and I'd put in a $20 bill and get a bunch of quarters, fill up both pockets, and I'd give a lot of the quarters to my younger brother, who was 12 years younger than me. So at that time, I would have been like 22 years old, and he was like, I think 10, 11 years old, in that range. And we used to go over there and we'd play the game, and I would put a lot of quarters in Red Baron. And I just loved the game because I've always had a fascination with airplanes. My other hobby besides, well, my hobby actually before I got into arcade games, and I still am in it, but I haven't done anything recently, is radio control models. Basically airplanes, helicopters. I've had cars, I've had boats, I've had everything radio control you can think of. I got a radio control rubber tire front end loader. The only thing I never had was a submarine. But anyway, that's another story. So that's why I kind of love Red Baron because I used to like it way back when, and I've always loved anything to do with airplanes. So, with that said, I picked up this game. This game was on Craigslist back in July of 2014. And I called the guy up and talked to him and told him I was interested in it and I'd come get it right away. He said, well, there's one other guy called and he's supposed to be on his way. But if he doesn't get it, you got second dibs on it. Well, the guy came and got it, so I didn't get it. The guy sent me some pictures of what it looked like when he was selling it, and I'll run some pictures along here while I'm talking. And few days, so I think a few days later, several days later, I found out that the guy who bought the game was a club member, and even though at that time I had never met him, I knew he lives in the next city over from me. So anyway, I found this out because he had put an ad on Clove where he was parting out a Red Baron. So I sent him a message and I asked him, I said, well, okay, you're parting it out. I knew what the condition it was in. It was almost complete, but it didn't have the bezel or the cardboard surround. The picture tube and the monitor was missing. The monitor chassis was in it. The deflection board was in it. The high voltage board cage was in it. The boards were in it. It had the joystick. It had the coin door and had the coin box. It was basically complete except for the monitor and the bezel. So anyway, I asked him, I said, well, what are your plans with the cabinet? Because I already had in my possession a board set that I bought probably a couple years before that, because I was planning on putting together a Red Baron. I wanted a cockpit, and I was looking for a cockpit. I actually bought a control panel that came off a cockpit, and I have a complete wiring harness that came off of a cockpit. I still have them. I took the joystick off of that cockpit control panel, and with a lot of new parts from Milestar, I think it's arcadefixit.com, I rebuilt the joystick. Anyway, he said, well, the cabinet was badly water damaged and it was missing the top, and I continued to show pictures of what it looks like when I got it. The top was completely gone, the back behind the monitor was gone, and there was no door on the back of the game. And the whole top edge of the cabinet on the face unit, which is a wooden unit, the open face kit you call it, because you can put one of these on a battle zone. They call it open face kit, but Red Baron came like that. The top section was there, but it had swollen up to twice the size that it's supposed to be. So anyway, he said the cabinet was junk, and he was just going to part it out and scrap the cabinet. Well, I told him, I said, well, would you be interested in selling the cabinet to me after you finished parting it out? And he said, sure. So I got it at a fairly reasonable price. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it wasn't much because he had stripped it down. It did still have the control panel. He had took the joystick, but I had a joystick I could rebuild. He had taken the coin box out of it and had no boards. Still had the monitor frame, the deflection board, and the high voltage cage in it. So I bought it just like that. And after that, I brought it home, and right away I started to work on it. I started tearing it down and started rebuilding it and rebuilding the cabinet. I have a 10-part series on YouTube. If you haven't already seen it, check it out. I'll put a link at the end of this video. Might even be able to put a link up in the top right here in the corner. It's called Saving an Atari Red Baron, and it's a 10-part series. And you know, start out with the cabinet and rebuild the power brick in the bottom, rebuild the monitor, rebuild the joystick, the whole 9 yards. Rebuild the top and the back of the cabinet, make a back door to the cabinet that had no measurements, except for I took the measurements from the back of the cabinet as to how wide to make it and all that stuff, and just used detective work and pictures I found online and measured out the pictures and tried to get the correct measurements for the air vents in the top and bottom of the back door. And I think I did a pretty good job. So if you haven't seen those videos, check them out. Okay, enough talking. Let's get to gameplay. In my arcade, I have all of my games set up with HAP coin mix that use either quarters or tokens. The Chuck E. Cheese size tokens, what are they, 984? No, 8? I forget the size now. I used to know all that stuff. Anyway, it's tokens that are slightly bigger than a quarter. You know what they are. So, I have some little stack here, so let's go ahead and I'll turn the lights off to keep the reflections off of the monitor here. And it's just a little bit easier playing in the dark. So let me go ahead and cut the lights off. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and I'll put a couple tokens in. And let's start a game of Red Baron. Here we go. Secret to Red Baron, I think, is to not use your machine gun constantly. You only want to use it when you line up the target, because if you use it too much, they'll overheat and you won't have them. And I think you get more points if you shoot the plane when it's farthest away instead of it getting real close to you. Oh, me. Uh-oh. Lost life. Oh, well, I lost it. It starts getting harder the farther you get into the game. And I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe somebody can say for sure, but I read somewhere where the game progressively gets harder the more you play it, and sort of adjust the difficulty level to the player to try to minimize the amount of time somebody can play the game. Let me know in the comments if that's true. Uh-oh. I thought I had it then. Ah, ran into him. Okay, well, let me put my initials in here. Go back. Now, Red Baron saves the 3 top high scores, but I believe it'll, when the game is running and on, it will, I believe it's, I forget how many, it'll keep adding high scores down. I believe it's something like 7 maybe. Also, let me know in the comments, do you have a high score save kit for Red Baron? Now, I know the high score save kit does away with the ROMs because it has its own ROMs. But the main feature is it will save, I think it's 7 high scores instead of the 3 that it does now. And it also gives you the ability for free play. Now, like I say, I use tokens and quarters in my arcade here, so I'm not interested in free play. And Red Baron already saves the top 3 high scores, so I don't really see what the benefits of a high score save kit would be. So let me know in the comments what you think. Would I benefit any, or are there any other features to the high score save kit that I might benefit from besides the free play and the extra high scores? Because really I'm fine with the 3 high scores it saves. As you can see, I'm 12,590. No danger of the world record being broken here. I'll just get that out of the way right now. Okay, let's go ahead and play another game. See if I can do better. It's been a while, and so I'm out of practice. They say practice makes perfect, right? So, missed him. Right there, because the mountains are right there. Keep missing them barrage balloons. Ah. Oh, I'm terrible at these barrage balloons today. Oh, man. Ah, man. And if you get one far enough back, it gives you that little tune. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. Oh, got me from behind. I let him get by. Okay. I really don't need to put high scores in now because unless I get one within the top 3, but I just do it just to do it. And we'll see how many it gets down there. So let me put on another token. Let's give it another go. I just can't get those barrage balloons. I get a choice between a barrage balloon and an airplane. I always go for the airplane first because the airplane can slip in and get you from behind. Bonus life, got 3 lives now. Darn it. You also have to kind of dodge the fire coming at you. I guess you call them bullets, but they're big squares. That's better. get by me. Got me. Always go by. Have to keep going back. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6. Let's play another game. Here we go. I know some people think this is repetitive, but it might be a little repetitive, but it's still challenging. There's still a lot of skill involved in lining the shots up and to keep from getting hit. And you can fly into a mountain if you're too low. I mean, this was something at the time it came out. At the time it came out, I don't even think there were any flight simulators for anything on the market. Nowadays, you got flight simulators where you can learn how to fly radio control models. We've had them for quite a few years. And they're really realistic nowadays. But, oh, shucks. This was definitely ahead of its time when it came out. But I guess it just didn't appeal to everybody. But I can play this thing for hours. And the bullets are like tracers, you know. So it simulates just like you're fighting in a real aircraft. Because when you're flying the aircraft, you have to aim your shots by aiming the airplane. Because the machine guns on these planes, they were stationary. They didn't move. You had to maneuver your airplane in order to get the shot. Oh, man. So you don't want to let them get behind you. Let them get behind you, you're a goner. If you run into them, you can be a goner. Getting a little better on the barrage balloons. getting closer to my high score. Ain't got there yet. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7. All right, I got one more quarter in my hand. Let's play one more game. If any of y'all are still with me at this point, you're a true Red Baron fan. That's all I got to say. Oh, man. Where'd that one come from? I ran under that one. When you get them right off like that, you get that 300-point bonus, and that's when you hear the doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh. Well, that wasn't very good. Always run by it. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still 7. Okay, I guess it'll put 7 scores up there, but it only saves the top 3. If you get the high score save kit, it'll save all 7 scores. Okay, so let me in the comments. Let me know if you have a high score save kit, and is that the only benefits to having the high score save is the free play and the additional high scores it saves. So let me go ahead and cut the light back on. Okay, well there you have it. There's my Atari Red Baron. Back up and running, and all I got to do is come out here and play it some more and get a little better. Like I say, I'm not no danger of breaking the world record, which, by the way, let's see, What was the world record? I know I showed it earlier. The world record is 447,860. So, yeah, I got a ways to go. My high score is 125.90. So, yeah, I got to do a little better. All right, well, that's it. Let me know if, like I say, if you like Red Baron. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I hope you watched it all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed the little reminiscence of the old arcade around in my area. That wasn't the only arcade we had around here. We had some more, but I'd never seen another Red Baron. And this was a local. Pretty sure this was local. It came from the south side, which was the Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake region, on the other side of Hampton Roads Harbor. So more than likely this was operated by, over there the big operator was Southern Amusements, but I haven't found anything on the game, that no tags, no anything. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what the serial number is, because the serial number was stamped on the piece of wood on the back of the cabinet, and that was water damaged, and somebody had already taken that off of the cabinet, and it was gone who knows how long ago. So evidently what happened is set in a building probably that had a leak above it, and it probably was a small leak. Not real big leak, but it was enough to, it saturated the top of the cabinet, and it sort of ran down the back a little bit. The base of the cabinet is in excellent condition. There's no water damage at all. All of the water damage was right up on the top and of course the back, and the back door was missing. Of course, back doors are missing on all the games. Somewhere there's a pile of back doors in a building somewhere, just stacked up. There's got to be. I mean, you wouldn't think they would just throw them away. When they take them off to work on a game, they usually set them to the side. They don't fix the game, and they never put them back on. So, yeah, somewhere there's a back door probably for this. But don't have to worry about that because I made one for it. All right, I'm rambling again. That's going to do it. So it had just been another arcade fix, and now after you fix them, you play them. So have you played your game today? Bonus footage. Not only do I have my Red Baron up and running, I have this entire row of 4 games running. This is my Asteroids multi-game, up and running. This is my Sega Star Trek multi-game, up and running. And down here,
Command of the Enterprise, play Star Trek.
Here's my Gorf, up and running. So, one row going, let's get the rest of them going.